It don't bother me. What's up, y'all? It's gonna be a nice one. I think y'all might enjoy this one today. I need the air. I am the air. I am the trees. I am the ground. I am even all the poisons they make. I am the vehicle. I am the shirt. I am the hat. I am the hair. I am you. You and me. Whether you like it or not. Whatever like is or not. Hit that like. Hit that like. Come up and hit that like, man. Before I start anything. Hit that like, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Share it out. Y'all might like this one today, all right? No, seriously. All right. Oh, they doing their best. There we go. AI can't write cursive. AI can't write cursive. I don't even know why I mentioned that because I just thought it was funny. I heard it and started laughing. Green like a Celtic, my heat pulverizes, the cheese is melted. The witness of cash money, I dispelled it. You did the features in my eyes, I beheld it. The finger fucked across my hand, I dealt it. Felt the vibrate from the gut of my pelvic. The bust off with spices and velvet shit. So radiant, I keep the dark room well lit. Bless you little goofies and well quick. Body for remarks, you velvet. Body you not homage, your females click. As a kid, all I did was fight. I did the bit with a knife. I know I can spit my flows and shit. To a fly zone, haters wanna crucify. A real man, I still stand with the silver hand. But with Hiller man, it's not Cypress Hill. I'm Turtle Sheep. I'm one tough cookie. I don't follow, I set standards. Catch me, you gon' have to do more than scamper. Need more than scanners. I'm off the radar. I am as your goofies play God. Some worship the Christ, others pray to Allah. Chase a high, drink paper opera. You stagnated, well I straight evolved. At a rate, I'm dating space AC, y'all. Bust stuck in the case, face off. Active safety stages of fake or fraud. Battle start intergalactic, my mindset. Perfect comes from practice, so I rhyme best. I excel like I'm climbing the step. You got a lot to learn. I am a depth, you of no concern. I am a threat. My measurement width is tight to depth. I'm just piloting up. Flying a jet, spray the adversary. Martial Chronicles like Ray Bradbury. I'm a thorough guy, goddammit. Symmetric compare, I will fly batted. Mohawk aviators, aerodynamics. And it's like I'm an arrow in precise transit. A Christmas Carol lies what your fans get. The world's and pearls what I transmit. As a transcript, or I just spit it off the top. This is the shit, or get off the pot. This shit's hot.
If you're broke, listen to me, young people, old people too, mostly black people, I'm talking to you. Sure. Y'all really thought that I was done with y'all. Nah. I'm really down on y'all. Fellas up. We not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or wet. Here's a big step. Yellow, white, red, brown, black. Mau Mau, Big Mac. The earth is round or flat. We run our shit back. Enough with the chit chat. I see through the side eyes. Looking past the side spot. Third eye gang, straight drops. I don't eat pork, but I will fry cops.
Yeah, I don't eat pork no more.
Orders an icebox, I'm saying that from the skybox. They got a scope on you blowers. The scope with some rules. Some of our folks are still dumb. Yeah, they're blind to the fact that blood, we gon' have this real show. Warrior spirits inside me. That's where it's real from. The world's a stage, page after page, script is played out. They keep us engaged, play arranged. This is played
that tastes good. Oh, that tastes good.
Should have been disobeyed out. Forehead and knees off the floor. Should have been prayed out. The draft is on, COVID's no issue. Could've blown loaded in tissue. Now it's control who blows the whistle to who holds the pistols. The debacle's about who owes who the fiscal. Disregarding the aboriginal issue. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or wet. It's a big fat yellow, white, red, brown, black. Bow, bow, big back. Whether earth is brown or flat. We want our shit back.
Ain't foolish, nobody's speech. Yet if I don't speak, I suffer defeat. I'm other than weak, ain't stuck on me. Stand on your feet, or trip the other cheek. The wise man known by his silence, mostly disguised compliance. Silence by guidance from conspiring cannabis. Other aspirants of violence, tyrants of fire. Trying to giants who hide, I'm trying to fight. In environments of migrants, I'm hearing the sirens. Ring in my ear, they've got indictments. These pedophiles, queers, groupies, and hymen. Alignments, the assignment. I'm not the wisest, I'm not client. My refinement and confinement, the requirements for this climate. Y'all push all the paperwork, or y'all can protest, but they can't escape this work. I vow to progress, don't duck, no wreck. Drill music for real. My soul they don't possess. Real foolish with no deal. Ain't playing with none of them. It's personal, know what the business is. Big monsters come full circle, so vacate your premises. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or whack. Here's a big fat yellow, white, red, brown, black. Bow, bow, or big back. Whether earth is brown or flat. We want our shit back. We're not going back and forth about this or that. Whether your word is bond or whack. Here's a big fat yellow, white, red, brown, black. Bow, bow, big back. Whether earth is brown or flat. We want our shit back. I teach you what. Shine symbols for the conscious mind, y'all. And with that on the temple, draw. I had a vision the past night, yeah, a circulus round, created successful reality from a virtue now. How? Stand on my square cause they usurp your power. Them same little sneaky breezies that hurt you, they smile all up in your face, all up in your space. And I ain't talking all bras, but dogs with whole trace. So I walk tall kittens while y'all cross slow race. I stay focused on walking through them tall gold gates. Draw magic shirt around me to keep me from harm. The law fat shacks purposely repeat me, I'm calm. Mortified at earth, turn me from that peace to a bomb. Blow the joint, just split the range, the point, the centimeters. I've accomplished my inner demons. 490-degree angles, guarded by angel of shiny elite angels. Thank you, and I, of course, am the chief triangle. If I die before I wake, well, at least I'm flying plain view. I am my circle, how I govern four corners. Wise as a serpent for certain amongst foreigners. Out of state, out of place, in the space they storing us. Learning firsthand of what fate was forewarned of us. How we call when pro, and I spit flows, dope man, fly in the shell at Southampton, kept slow, stay high. Years later, he's the same degree, just gained density. Gave my synopsis, he's hostile. I prayed I could say I'm behaved by locals. I've raised my moral ground, way how my character stay fly, the conduct squared up, self-esteem, the day sky, new God, on what the world's been waiting for, the days now. May I think I don't abide by the same ethics. They feign respect, yet obtain the credit for keeping the obelisk erect, but restrained. That's but the epic of my name will reign and remain epic. Circumscribe my passions, my squares, my lift. Ask, is it worth the ride? Yeah, it's rare, I spit, but the beach churchified, so I bear my shit. It hurt, I cried, it's kitten that it tried to eclipse my soul, bounce back from it. Announce it, I'm done with being the sacrificial lamb. The jungle I run it, thus the lion conquereth over this numbness. Made a conscious shift, even in darkness, the sun lit on you false lights. Don't have to be gold to glitter. After something Parker just for show, go figure you did. Pounding you bamboo or gorilla. I'm built like a silverback with hill track, no iller back than me. Master built her back, originally pretty, take the mask off 360 on my square, see the circle, if not your mask off. You poemish, dash or salt, the dialogues, you trash talk, your past loss, leave a footprints in the asphalt. Use the outline correction, last straw. I blast off, I crash off to the next zest of living. Sexually section whose ass off when she wants the ass off. I talk back to it like who makes your Yanni sing. Her response, she dons me king.
Singing for that.
I
had to go through my gun tools.
This is my business description. Listen, I'm standing on my circle is me.
I got plenty of lighters, but this one is my lighter. T-Bone. They all work. I just like this one. I was digging for this thing.
In my ship as we chart the map. Thinking in destiny, the turtle and the hen. Acknowledge me as the circle and the square. Yeah.
All right, it's 38. My apologies. Hey, look, hey guys, do me a big one if you don't mind, because I know we're a collective. I know that we make up the God body, if that's the term we're going to use, which I'm not going to be so explanative as far as the words I use. We are the God body, okay? We're one whether you like it or not. And I decided to do this because there's so much more, but I'm going to do it fragmented. As you know, I'm going to read a little bit of the Power Now. I'm explain some things, and hopefully I don't trip people up. There's a reason why I was getting them to breathe. There's a lot more that goes with it, and I just don't feel like people are ready. That's my determination. I've taught martial arts long enough. I've got quite a few black belts, so I know what I'm doing. I don't have to give long explanations. I don't have to be long-winded either. I do it when I feel one is ready. And if you're not ready, you're just not ready. That's just where it's at. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not ready. It just means it implies that you are not. My brother, my service brother, good brother, wonderful mother, family. Since I last talked to him, when y'all saw him in here, kidney stones hit him pretty bad, and he had got a kidney infection. He's in the hospital. He's been there for a couple of days. So you can send some energy that way. I had to converse with him, tell him about dandelion root tea and a few other things. But he's going to be all right regardless. And I know he's in the hospital. I know he could be hard-headed too. So I know the doctor's going to want to, first thing to do is shoot you up with IV, give you saline solution, salts, right? So be mindful of your diet. Salts is not what cause heart attacks or blood clots or anything. Parasites do. Fats, cholesterol is not what the problem is. It's how your body's harmonic balances are affected, and that's by the chemicals. And that's why this fake medicine plays on it. And I just had to remind him that when they get ready to get you out of there, they're going to want to give you a prescription of those deadly ass drugs. You ask them, can you give me a prescription for a healthy diet? If you are unaware. And I told him, make sure you remember that. Now, I know in my face, he'll smile and say, yeah, yeah, yeah. The problem is, I need him to be serious. So give a little energy to my beloved brother, all right, Jay Lauderdale, okay? That's just all you got to call him is Jay Lauderdale, all right? And it's that quick. You don't have to go reminiscing. You ain't got to lay hands on nothing. You're all part of a collective. It's in the air. We are the air. It doesn't matter what they do to it. We are the water. It doesn't matter what they do to it. We are the trees. It doesn't matter which ones they cut down, remove, or put up. We are the soil, the earth. We are all the toxins and poisons they formulate and put together. When you start seeing these things this way, you start realizing there's a reason why they had to sleep in the cut and they had to wait for something. Like the God they got you praying to. Why is it we don't worship one another, but we worship things we can't see? Ergo, when you start worshiping these things you can't see, then you forget the importance of self. Remember we used to say Delph and all that, and rap and all that? What's the demiurge? Why would something want to be worshipped and destroyed at the same time? Why would people choose that in light of what may be on the opposite side? So we're going to look at a few of those things, okay? Now, I'm not here to stop nothing. I'm not here to start nothing. But I hope y'all take the time to pay attention to the little things. It's starting to get a little hot, god dang. I'm taking this damn shirt off. Me and my t-shirt. Oh, I should have got out the truck, took this mug off, man. I ain't as small like I used to be, but damn, I'm gonna try. God dang, boy. Don't be laughing there now, god dang. Got a little sticky up in here. Not sweaty, but a little sticky. You know what I mean? Whoo, 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 whoo. Lord have mercy. More, I think we're getting a little warm up in there. And then it's 80, it was 70, 69. Damn, and it jumped up to 83. I don't know what's going on. Damn, Pima Reservation. No, you gotta stop living a lie, people. Anyway. So let's go ahead and we're gonna start. Let me shout everybody out. Millennial, barefoot in the backyard on this live. I'd like to be there back with you barefoot too and enjoying it. Deb, what's happening? Mr. Satoska, what's going on? What's going on, beloved? Hey, Shot City, niece. I see you was here. They weren't showing, they were showing zeros. T-Bone right over here, y'all. So he in there. Kirmia, aha, Pura Vida, mi gente. What's going on, familia? Bam, what's going on, family? I appreciate you guys. I truly do. And I appreciate the new subscribers. The numbers is jumping up. I'll tell the story when I'm ready, seeing how the little goofy, the fakes wanted to play a game. I'm not playing a game. They're playing a game. I'm not playing a game. All right? This is no game to play. All right? All right, so taking another sip of this excellent tea is really, really good. I asked Steve if he wants some honey. He said the right thing. No, this stuff tastes excellent. All you need is about a cup and a half full, and you're making more than enough in about 12 to 16 ounces, and it's just delicious. Sweet taste, a little hint of a bitter. It's just perfect. Works in your liver, your kidneys, and it strengthens your heart. So it's magnificent. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the power now first, and then I'm gonna read a few things, and then I'm gonna have an open discussion. I know I could have set it up and did it a StreamYard or BOGO, whatever. I decided to do it this way because I think it's my way I can read, and if they decide to spiral it and do the little goofy things they do, I can go over here and I can communicate with you over there. So, all right, as y'all know, The Power Now, Eckhart Tolle is one of my favorite books, besides about several others. So let's get into past pain and dissolving the pain body. Why do I say that? Because, why am I reading this, and why do I say that as well? Because that's where they have you. They have you capitulating to a form of pain. Dynamically, you are infused to the ideology of outside of self, so therefore you will look at anything that attacks the physical more so than being able to lean on the source or the spiritual or the soul of who you are, the Hawa, the truth. So if I'm outside and they're attacking me here, it's actually outside. So what's going to affect me more? Well, if they can't attack me inside no more, then wouldn't I go within my doors, within my windows? Would I not close my abode? Would I not shelter myself from them until I am ready to step out? Until my armor, as I was expressing the other day, is built up. The little post you saw, for those who took a look, seemed like I only had 7 likes. I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm not looking at my posts to see things that may benefit you or help you in guiding you to look at something else. That is not who you are. That is who they are. And if you're having a hard time because you feel like you're giving more power to them, manipulation to outside, then you're not searching the inside to be more involved. Do not be the turkey for the hunt because you want the flesh. Be the light of it running and the light when it sees you, the fear and the compassion that you love and stroke its feathers instead of wanting to consume it. We must change our direction and refocus ourselves. Partake in the fruit of existence and get away from the flesh of it, because the fruit is the flesh. But what's the narrowing seed of it? To get to the bitter part, which is the seed, that way, therefore, we can spread it and plant it so there'll be more of the real flesh and fluid to feed, to spread the seed that they can't destroy because we've allowed them, because we're so outside of ourselves. Again, it's empirical that you become the inner part. Past pain, dissolving the pain body. As long as you are unable to access the power of the now. What is the now? The power now? If it's a guide to spiritual enlightenment, what does it allude to? Every emotion, every emotional pain that you experience leaves behind a residue of pain that lives on in you. I mentioned my physical abuse, but do I hold it as a glory charm or a pendant or a necklace of reward? No, I said it helped guide me. I don't banish my mother. I don't curse her. I don't defile her. I don't, because if I do that to her, I'm doing it to myself, regardless of what happened. Just like my baby being taken from me. Was it mine? It was me. Do you get where I'm coming from? Behind it doesn't mean that we allow stupidity, but I need you to If you want to ascend, I think this is indicative. Maybe you find something else. Just pay attention. Again, leaves behind a residue of pain that lives on in you. It merges with the pain from the past, which was already there. You don't know how many lives you live. Some of you aren't ready to start knowing. You need guidance, right? Who's to guide you? Well, if we're one and the same, doesn't mean that I'm your guide. But I may say something that's indicative to help you when you start seeing, because you start listening to yourself, or just listening. Doesn't mean me. Just listening. All right? This, of course, includes the pain you suffered as a child, caused by the unconsciousness of the world into which you were born. You came into a dead world. But don't take that to heart. Let it exist without adding more something, because you know how we do. We start mentioning and saying things and building on it. Do that on your own time. Just listen. Breathe. Right? You breathe in and out your pores, right? When I express to you, can you move things with your mind? That seems to work pretty well. Stop looking outside yourselves. Pay attention. This accumulated pain is a negative energy field that occupies your body and mind. All right, it just builds and builds and builds. You remember the message. Next door is the big house owned by the Josephs with a little brown shack that's owned by me. I get so mad that every time that I see him, so I guess deep down that's called envy. I walk out every morning before I drive my car, the old horse and buggy, I should say it is, compared to the new car owned by the Josephs when my car's 12 years older than his. Right? Envy, jealousy, all those things. You know, so it's like, what's his name? What's that one jam? And the part where it says, sometimes I think I'm going the same, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like it's going to explode, you know what I'm saying? Just remember, we don't have to be there, all right? Okay? You're getting quite close to the truth, but check this out. If you look on it as an invisible entity in its own right, you are getting quite close to the truth, all right? You got to remember, so this is the accumulated pain of as a negativity energy field that occupies your body and mind. Negative. Key words here. Negative energy field that occupies, that you feed. You increase that negative, like 808 and 440 frequency. That's the only one they're allowing and permitting. Yet the other ones are there. You, you have to speak and raise it up. You have to make it viral itself. Check it out. You are getting quite close to the truth as far as that goes. It's the emotional pain body. Right? Intuitive the thought, right? Acting upon it, what's guiding you, and the knowledge of knowing, right? It has two modes of being, okay? Dormant and active. That means that you trigger, they turn it on. I'm emotionally unstable about things. When you relegate yourself to a thought that you think is traumatic, sometimes you create it yourself when actually it's all the time created by the majority. Shared pain and suffering instead of enlightenment and light. So, a pain body may be dormant 90% of the time in a deeply unhappy person, though 90% of the time, so that little 10% kicks our ass. Ain't that something? Anyway, though it may be active up to 100% of the time, unbeknownst. You ever see those people that walk in the street and they got the gun in their hand and they shooting everywhere, and they see people with rifles and everything pointed at them? What do? Shoot me, shoot me. They want it to end. They have no control. They can't figure out what it is, and they have tired. It's not that they're empty, but in their selves, they feel empty because they're not filled with the truth of their existence. So it's like an easy escape. Nobody's guiding them. And if someone comes around to guide them, they can't hear it. The system's very aware of that, the demiurge. All right, let's go on. Some people live almost entirely through their pain body, while others may experience it only in certain situations, such as intimate relationships or stimulations linked with past loss or abandonment, physical or emotional hurt, and so on. get deep rooted there because it's something wants to connect. You want to connect to something and you don't know why. Then there's a lot of times those people communicate with birds and with animals and everything, and it's there and everyone sees it. But the pain is like Eartha Kitt, the mother, the relationship, fulfillment of something. And then when she got it, she was much older, but the damage had been done. And then they came in and removed her. Was it dynamic to her truth? Was it relevant? What did people see? That even wanted me explaining it. First thing y'all go to is, oh, the devil, Satan, the evil. But that's within you as well. Which one is fed more? Which wolf is fed more? Anything can trigger it, particularly if it resonates with the pain pattern from your past. When it is ready to awaken from its dormant stage, even a thought or an innocent remark made by someone close to you can activate it. Some pain bodies are obnoxious, but relatively harmful. For example, like a child who won't stop whining. You've seen it. Did y'all see that video I shared of the mother with the 6-year-old daughter and takes her in the back and just stabs her 30-something times? What caused it? See, we'll lean on the pain. We'll lean on the words. We'll think, and we think we can figure it out. There's an emptiness, and then there's trauma. There are things that have not been covered, taken care of. There have been things that have been ignored. She has not been fed. What was I said when I was saying earlier about fed? She has not been fed the proper fruit, okay? And what is the proper fruit? The proper fruit, the flesh, is not what you think it is. If we are all the God body, she is disconnected. She has brought another part of the creation, God, into her existence. Through her womb, her universe. That's where we come in, through the strength of it. The power and the light, right? That protects it. She was empty. There was something crying out. There was no one there. The church is not going to feed it. The synagogue, the mosque. Those are lies. The words from a hymn or a book, a text, Torah, or whatever is not going to feed it, but control the narrative to feed something else to make more pestilence and darkness and void. It is us as a collective that they don't want. Who are they most worried about coming together out of the whole world? They don't mind the Hindus having stores feeding fake fish, and they don't mind Pelicans getting together with this, and they don't mind the Spaniards coming together. They don't mind none of that. But let us come together, not controlled under the false narrative of a Zion, whatever you want to call those individuals that want to be part of a demiurge, who want to be a false narrative that thinks they can control something they have no control over. Because they are very aware that if you came together, which they really can't stop, but your personification of fear, trauma, and everything else implemented that you've allowed and that you pursue on a daily basis is the reason why. She was empty and so many others are empty. You remember the young man had the so-called the father, the thing put against him so he couldn't be around a woman because he was abusive. Well, remember he shot her down in the parking lot? That's 1 out of 1,000 a year. Well, 100, excuse me. I mean, look at the Italian guy beating the girlfriend down in the elevator. Stomping over. Y'all, we say roid rage. Emptiness. Emptiness is real. But sometimes we make ourselves empty, don't we? And we'll get into that here in a minute. But I just wanted to point that out. So anyway. So some pain bodies are obnoxious but relatively harmless. For example, relatively, when we're just talking about the more extreme. Example, like a child who won't stop whining. People go crazy, shake the baby to death. You've heard the stories, some rappers and everything else. Others are vicious and destructive monsters, true demons. You're not, right? Some are physically violent, many more are emotionally violent, which destroys many more. Okay? Some will attack, like the VA. It's set up to create harm and pain to the so-called veterans. They make up names of what they call it, shell shock, delirium, you know, traumatic head injury. No kidding. You ain't supposed to deal with those kind of explosions. You know what I'm saying? And then all the other terms and medical terms they use. But then what do? They want to poison. They want to, because they know that you're not connected to your real source. They want to bring you to the lower part. They want to destroy you. They use you up. Now to them, you're no good. All right? It creates what? More trauma. Why do we have from 22 to 24 people committing suicide in the VA? Because the VA that's not there to help. It's a lie. Every face they put in there is their own destruction. It separated itself from the God body because it thinks that it can be more than the truth. It believes it can believe to that thing that wants to speak itself into existence as to be worshipped and everything else in ignorance when there's something bigger. And it's right here. But anyway, let's go on. So, some are physically violent, many more are emotionally violent. Some will attack people, and that's all emotional for those who don't know, and then it becomes physical. They're hosts. Again, while others may attack you, they're hosts. All right, they're hosts. Thoughts and feelings you have about your life then become deeply negative and self-destructive. Illnesses and accidents are often created in this way. You know, you raise your cortisol level, right? And what happens? Your body, your white blood cells stop fighting, or they attack a part that doesn't need to be attacked. And what happens? The parasites get stronger and they start eating, and you succumb to them. Look like a fake Jew riding by me now, like you want to say something. But anyway, right? This can take the form of irritation. You got to pay attention to this, okay? Thoughts and feelings you have about your life then become deeply negative and self-destructive. Illnesses and accidents are often created in this way, and some paying bodies drive their host to suicide. Now, when you thought you knew a person, and then you are suddenly confronted with this alien. Nasty creatures. I'm going to crank this up again. I want to keep it running. Anyway, excuse me. Nasty creature. For the first time, you are in for quite a shock. Listen, when you thought you knew a person and then you are suddenly confronted with this alien, nasty creature for the first time, you are in for quite a shock. However, it's more important to observe it in yourself than in someone else. You know, we always saying, how do I stop it? Fool, you still there. You still entertaining it. What's driving you to entertain it? What is it in yourself that you're not relinquishing to get yourself and walk away? Be the modus operandi and remove yourself. Okay? Even the way you think, right? Instead, if you want to be a millionaire, put yourself around millionaires. Listen to what they got to say, and then go out there and don't formulate. Just actually do what they say. Or what they do. Okay? You got to put the pinky up. You've got to carry on like them. You have to move like them. You mold yourself, you become them. Then that way, you become the millionaire. It's energy. If that's what you want. If you want to be spiritual. You don't have to sit there on some corner preaching out of hate with two fat white girls coming out behind you, throwing ice on you, being disrespectful because them chemicals got them jacked up. And then you got to mash them out. That's all negative. They don't know no better. You're falling outside yourself, so you don't know no better. Even though you have the right tools and pretty much right connotations and words, you're moving outside yourself. You know, it's almost if you want to entertain that because, you know, preaching hate, reverence, and all the other fictional stuff that was created by the very enemy to have you continuously looking outside. So we'll never have you looking at what may be the truth. It might be something simple. All right, let's turn it off. It smells like chocolate. Anyway. Just saying, in my opinion, watch out for any signs of unhappiness in yourself, in whatever form it may be. The awakening pain body. You hear that? You awaken it. This, and then you feed it. This can take the form of irritation, impatience, a somber mood, a desire to hurt, anger, rage, depression, a need to have some drama in your relationship, and so on. Catch it in the moment it awakens from its dormant state. My ex-wife, right? Luz esta bonilla. Luz esta blanche, right? I would get up after about an hour or 2 hours sleep, worked all night at Home Depot. I got full-time college. Just want some eggs and some toast, you know, some tea, some fruit. And the first thing is argument with her daughter. Well, I think should have been in a halfway home, but argument with her daughter. Talking on her phone and then talking about thank you, Jesus and God. Everything outside itself while personifying the most unrighteous and evil acts and mental. And I knew there was something more wrong in here. And I knew how to address it. But see, I got to the point where I knew I didn't have to entertain it. because that's not the circle I required around me. You are not going to sit here talking fake religion, that you don't know how to benefit from truth in that religion, because you have been lied to, not educated, and still harboring and holding on to a pain that you're not supposed to invite into anyone's life. So was I supposed to hate her? Not at all. Love her now. I just knew that I had to separate myself, because long before I fixed her, because the fix was already there, she ignored it, I would start accepting her role and irresponsibility. I can't do that. So what did I do to negate positive influence over self? I removed self that would influence her one way or the other. Okay? Doesn't mean that's how it works for everybody. That's how it worked for me. So let me go ahead and read a few things right quick. Okay? So notifications. I'm not going to be tapping up, but notifications pop down. That ain't popping down until all of a sudden when I want to look at something. That's how retarded, they've created stuff, sadly. And does it bother me? No, I just think it's funny. When I notice it, I'm like, yeah, look at you. You just can't help it. Huh? You feel my energy coming, you just want to jump down, don't you? Oh, look at that. Woo. It kind of cracked me up. All right, so let's get this. There's a few of them up there. Okay, we don't want that. We went over that yesterday. I don't need to meet no AI mode. Sheesh. You put police and sheriffs in there. The first thing they want to do is meet AI recording. They're just retarded, They can't help themselves. We covered Japanese philosophy, the power, blah, blah, blah. That was because I knew to a certain point. I hope you go back and watch it again and actually pick something up that may be beneficial. All right? See, that's what happens when you come in here with your, because you don't want to be part of the God presence that you are existing. And you want to hold on to the outside external. I don't care if your IDF broken or whatever and they manipulated you. You don't matter to me. Everything is important of you, but you don't matter to me. In the bigger picture, regardless of what happens in the end, you don't have to get it together. It'll be gotten together for you. Doesn't mean that it'll be a reward or a blessing. Whatever you call a blessing or blissful or whatever terms you want to use in this. Don't come over here with that goofy. Uh-oh. So let's go ahead and get into it, right? I'm going to use Sophia Monad. As I expressed to y'all the other day, we can go into the monad and all that, all right? And I'll read that first, and then we'll get into the female, the egoic part of it, all right? So the monad is a philosophical concept. This is how they do to minimalize the reality of it. But they wrote it out in the 1890s, 1920s, right? They don't want you to look inside. They want you to be, external, not internal. A monad is a philosophical concept. It's more than that. Representing an ultimate individual unit or a single source from which all things are derived, originating with the Pythagoreans, right? In later philosophies, it became synonymous with a supreme being or the basic substance of reality, as seen in the work of Leibniz, or with an idea or form. Y'all should know what that means. Platonic dialogues. It means that one thing that want to be that is a lie, that y'all continue to worship. The term is also used in different contexts in modern computer science to represent a design pattern for managing computation and effects, which is utilized in the AI now. So when you look at Pythagoreans, right? Believe the monad was the number one and the origin of all things, representing God and the good. Plato used monads, plural, to refer to his concept of ideas or forms. Aristotle used the term for the principle of number, an individual and unchangeable unit. Neoplatonists used it to signify the one, with some using it to describe God. You can't describe God, not male or female. The divergence, the demigurg, that is what that is. Whenever they profess something, to put something up over something, it's something lacking respect that wants you to worship it. That means now they remove you from the God body and experience of breath, the God existence, that every time you see something, you see an experience of God. When you look over and you see your friend in tears, you feel that. The emotional bonding doesn't need explanation. When you're dealing with somebody and it's love, sex, or whatever it may be, that's the connection of an experience that God has. And it's supposed to be magnified 1 trillion times over. There's no one answer or supplication to supplement, to change, to direct, to focus it, or anything. Yet they gave you something to give everything focus. There is no need to create something when it is already have been normalized by its natural state. If you have to explain something that is already great and is self-magnification of magnitude of magnificent, why? Who would have to do that? Who has to go cutting up bodies to explain how they operate so they can tear them apart? Who has to go digging up bones talking about what we find so they can tell fake history? Who has to keep making fake statues and stuff, and somebody in a certain partition wanting to hide the truth and put out the fraud? Those who would lie, those who believe in that, who need you to feed that because they need you not to have the truth of the God experience to which you exist already. The Gnostic tradition, the monad refers to the most primal aspect of God, the source of all existence. But the physical, the lower estate of your existence to keep you coming back as if they're going to figure out the way to defeat that which created all, which it will never know, because we can destroy it. Not monotheistically. I'm talking about something that is beyond the scope of even their understanding. Because see, they've become deluded, they're stuck. I'm not saying it to be mean and facetious and bad and all that with these fake words and terms. I need you to realize. So when you look at the Sophia and Monad, right? Sophia and Monad, right, is a character in Lies of P. All right? In Lies of P. She uses her power to allow Pinocchio to grow stronger with Ergo. Throughout the game, she acts as Pinocchio's guiding voice. Now, in Gnostic, all right, Sophia is a feminine figure, analogs to the human soul, but also, analogs to the human soul, but also simultaneously, one of the feminine aspects of God. God is not male or female. Anyway, the image has nothing to do with what y'all think. This is a beautiful existence that you're supposed to enjoy. Not woman on woman and man on man. That is nothing to do with the truth, but doing everything to shake the foundations of creation, to pull the worst part out of you, when all they're doing, anyway, that's something else with no explanation. Sophia is a feminine figure, analogous to the human soul, but also simultaneously one of the feminine aspects of God. Gnostics held that she was the Sigzit, or female twin of Yeshua, Jesus, i.e., right, the bride of Christ and the Holy Spirit. What's the bride of Christ? Well, wouldn't that be us when you think the dynamics of the religious order of male and female? The fact that the chrism is the female, is around the female's brain and the male brain. Well, who's to say it's a female or male brain when it's nothing but a higher existence of God? We are connected regardless. It's just that I have a doobop and I can't birth a child. You have an Annie that I can insert to help bring another life of God in while they keep trying to rob it. They cannot stop it, defeat it, or pervert it regardless of what they're doing. But I don't want to get caught up in that hymn. I need y'all to realize who and what you are and stop playing their game. Because they're hard-headed, didn't listen to me. So the Gnostic scribes, they're idiots, like everybody else. But it doesn't matter if they're real, the term is utilized. They had to be right at anything to have you looking outside. Even with this information, it can have you still looking outside. Yet I did express with the sources and references, go and look at it and see what you find to compile to build more information. But do not rob yourself. Do not become consistent in staying in the same false variables of external augmentation instead of internal, because everything they're doing is external augmentation. Because you know why? Y'all are running around fractured and lost. And the sauce. Who wants to eat sauce like that? If I was a sous chef making a sauce, you think I want to eat something? I don't know if that's garlic, onions, shallots, or chives. Or no, y'all don't know what you is. It needs you to know who you are. No one can stop it, actually, but it is. I mean, when you think about the Gnostic mythos, right? Many Gnostic systems, particularly those of the Syrian or Egyptian, teach that the universe began with an original unknowable God, referred to as the parent Bythos, depth, or the monad. From this primordial source, a series of emanations, or ions, emerged. These ions, eon flux, A-E-I-O-N, right? Emerged. And these eons, which often appear in male-female pairs called syzygies, or something like that, syzygies. Word is weird. Collectively, from the pleroma, or fullness of the divine, this concept emphasizes that the aeons are not separate from the divine, but are symbolic representations of the attributes. Like this needs to happen. Anyway, the transition from the immaterial to the material. From the immaterial to the, because the demiurge is material, created life, physical. All right, from the noumenal to the sensible. So now the noumenal was supposed to be unsensible. How about it didn't require to be recognized to be made sense of? Because it exists in a state that should always to elevate and ascend, to keep moving. Anyway, it's brought about by a flaw. The sensible is brought about by a flaw, or a passion, or a sin. In one of the ions in most versions of the Gnostic mythos, it is Sophia who brings about this instability in the pleroma. Y'all say the fall, the atom, the apple, or whatever the fruit and all that, the sin. Anyway, in turn, bringing about the creation of material reality, according to some Gnostic texts. The crisis occurs as a result of Sophia trying to emanate without her syzygy, or in another tradition, because she tries to breach the barrier between herself and the unknowable Bythos. What does that sound like to y'all? A reenactment or a remake of the Garden of Eden and the pomegranate, or whatever the fuck, mango, whatever fruit you want to call it, or maybe the fruit was a word. See, this is where we realized that we were held and we were stuck. What was the fall? We are the fallen. Ain't nothing out there. We are the fucking fallen ones. But they say if you fall, you're supposed to get back up. But what happens every time you get back up? If you want to get into Gnosticism, you know, and all that that shit, snake riding on it. Y'all know. It's up to you. All right? So the monad is a philosophical concept representing the ultimate indivisible unit of a single source from which all things are derived. Originating with the Pythagoreans and later philosophies, it became synonymous with the supreme being or the basic substance of reality, a fake god. Now, a demiurge is a creator figure, mostly notably found in ancient Greek philosophy and Gnosticism. Why does it always stop there when the Egyptians taught the Greeks? And who taught the Egyptians? Why is that we forget about the Mahatmas and everybody else, and these things they want to call foreign? Why is it that we don't even mention Tartaria? See, this is what they don't want you to know. And then they put information that if you find it, it keeps you running around in a stir pot of false convictions, and you think you got it, and y'all want to run and start flabbergasting and blabbering all over the place without doing ample research. Be careful when you're putting information out there. When you're all connected. Then someone say when they're ignorant steed, then why are we hurting and killing each other? First of all, because you are part of the God body, We're not doing percentages and mathematics and numbers. We're looking at the fact that your energy has been compromised because you refuse to see that it's compromised, but you'll accept all the pain and suffering and the sorrows. You'll accept that. That's how. You won't accept what may be plausible to the truth. You'll accept. That's like those talking about out of Africa. First of all, Africa's a made-up term. All these lands are connected. And then the idiots, millions of our peoples are over there. Millions make up that continent, just like over in France, just like in England, just like in South America, just in Cuba. Millions of our people make up all four corners, if you want to say four corners of circumference of this motherfucker. But because everybody wants to hold on to what they've been given and what they've been laid into, all right, this is where we're at. Okay, don't worry about the lost things that come in here, y'all. They're gonna come in here lost, and we ain't gonna give them the time of day. Thank you, T. You know, let the idiots be the idiots. You know what I'm saying? You are connected in more ways, and you don't even know why some of you stay where you stay at. Some of you have the propensity to fix things, that part of God. Some of you have the propensity to make things even more enlightened. Some of you have the propensity to destroy. But not as a collective. And then they get numbers together because your enemy knows this. The one who stepped aside, who wants to control. That's why we say demiurge. All right? But shit, 20 of y'all, 10 of y'all, 5 of y'all together are more phonetically stronger than anything. The problem is you don't know how to give in to that. You hate truth. Why do you hate it? Well, hate's not a real word. It hasn't had no real substance. Everything that goes on is an act. You are having an experience. And there are things in experience you shouldn't have. Who remembers me talking about a God having many life existences? And only to read out when the time comes to weed out what it never needs. It doesn't matter how grand or how destructive it may be. It might be to the last finite of an atom. And then that which we are becomes all that it ever was, which was never nothing, and exemplify the very existence and write everything else and phase it out of complete history. And then those that was established, those who are full of light, to be the guidance once it's all said and done. Stop having fear. It will know what of itself it needs not. They can't stop it or change it. They have a choice they can make. And if you're going to use the Torah and history, make sure it's for enlightenment, like so many do now. Kirmia is all for enlightenment. There's plenty of people who are sharing information for enlightenment. Niece, she's reading phenomenal. T shares great stuff for those who follow him on Instagram and anything else. These things are phonetic. They will help and assist in your enlightenment and your ascension. Ascension doesn't see, when I say ascend, we know that raise means to tear down. I'm going to raise them children. It means to fold them, to destroy them. Nobody knows it because the word grammar, the game that goes on. But to ascend doesn't mean to inflate. Doesn't mean going up. Damn it, I busted it open. Boy, I'm about to tear these up. Anyway, ascend means to be that which is meant for you to be. It is indicative for you because it's going to happen anyway for those who have the right eye, the righteous eye, right? I pointed to the right. It's both of them. Conclusively, ascension has everything to do with moving on to the better plane of your existence. To be the light, and ascend also means to allow the things that are beneficial for you. Again, to be the light. I'm not going to get all too deep and metaphysical and shit like that. And it's unnecessary. Ascension has nothing to do with going up that way and that. It means becoming the greater of your existence, which is going to happen anyway. But sometimes you have to be reminded. That's the beautiful thing about God and who you are. You know what's right, but you know what's wrong. You know what's dark, and you know what's light. Wow. For those who want to manipulate, will be that which wants it all or jealous. So when we say Lalibel, Satan, demiurge, whatever you want to call it, is there something else out there? I would say just worry about who you are, and as a collective, who you're supposed to be. Just want to see if they start spiraling in. That's real. I got people taking pictures. I should start charging $10. I'm not gonna never do that. That's just stupid. Guy yesterday talked to me for half an hour over at Chatterville Park. A young man, about 24. He had kids playing sports and everything. He moved there from Seattle, Washington. He was like, man, oh man. He was talking about things going on there. And I was like, but that's in your sport portion of the place. You're young. I can tell you don't come from a lot of so-called money, thank goodness, but we're connected. And he's like, yeah, I just felt like I had to come over here and talk. I was like, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he had his phone camera. I was like, take a picture, go ahead. Hey, how you doing? Took pictures and everything. What's meaningful? What's more meaningful? What's meaningless? Do we give it meaning? Did it always have meaning? Or is there nothing there? And we're just a symposium that creates it. Something existential. Do we, like, the people we call racists, I think it's the dumbest individuals walking on earth. The worst connection, the worst part of us, who we are. But how do we get there? Remember, this is a long manipulation. We read many texts and many books. We're still going to read, all right? But I need y'all to start doing the research and stop being complicit in the physical world. Doesn't mean that you can't parlay and portray. You have a role to play as well. The monks of old, when the island of Anu was falling before it became Japan, when they were there conquering the original people of the land, the monks there, that's what we're going to call them, they were fighting monks, just like anywhere else our people were. They want to use the term monks. You know, the Buddha, the original Buddha, was a black motherfucker, and they're trying to make him like he was some pale skin. Oh my God, these people. But anyway, yes, and you've seen the slow eradication, erasure of the original of God, origin of God. They need the lie of God. And the lie of God is what they've been having you feed to create. That's how powerful you are. Do I need to say any more? No, you gotta watch it, huh? You gotta watch it again. Because I'm about to end this. So I can get situated. I'm gonna head out to the park. I'm gonna go to the gym after I do the big read, because I gotta charge that up and everything. Alright. Finish off my little tea here. See the words I use? I was wondering if anybody's paying attention. I finish off the little tea. Tea is not little. We call it a tea. It's a root. I consume it like flesh for the benefits. But I think y'all are starting to get it. Y'all starting to figure it out. Right? Hey, Lucy, it's good to see you, Mama. Shy, got you. Deb, Brad, shout everybody out. Millennial, Mr. Sato, I got you, beloved. So anyway, it's good to have y'all all up in here. Everybody that came in, y'all share this out, and I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all later. We'll get into reading Book of Tartary, Helena Blavatsky, you know, the fact of what she was doing compared to the lies. I'm grateful for the people who are actually paying attention, because you mean so much. And those of you who are barely getting it, you mean more than anything. All right? See you guys here shortly. And you can donate, goddamn. We're going to get them solar panels. We're going to get that battery. We're going to get this stuff, and you're going to watch me build it. You hear me? All right? Oh, and Herb, thanks. Dre B, thanks for the donation yesterday, beloved. Appreciate it. Carrie, I got you. Thanks for that the other day, too. A couple of days. Appreciate the donations, all right? So see you guys here shortly.